Welcome back to another episode of Generation Red, the kettle corn of Husker fan podcast, where we try to be sweet, but at times we get salty. I am your host, Ken.
Hey guys, I'm Scott.
And then we've got Justin down
Oh,
there.
I thought we were going in order.
Yeah.
I thought we were going in order.
Oh, am I supposed to say something?
No, I dropped the ball there, man. I thought
No,
we were
that's
going
good.
in order from top, but I just kind of wanted to say, since we got the other Dave in the chat, I wanted him to say he's Justin, so I could say I'm the other Justin. So
You other Justin. Well, we got Justin and Derrick, our buddies from the Husker Cuz Cast, back for yet another annual over-under game in which none of us will be relatively close at all to anything that the Huskers do this year, but it's a fun exercise anyway. Just thought I'd let you all know. I know the intro music is different. That was not on purpose. That was not because I wanted to. It was because I did not resubscribe to Epidemic Sound, and they were going to throw ads and shit all over our live streams because I was using their music. So I found that one real quick this afternoon and decided to use it. So we'll hopefully find something that's a little closer to what we were using before, or we may just stick with that because we're just happy, shiny people today.
It sounded like we were going into a Zoom meeting for some HR conference.
I was thinking it sounded kind of like an old Nintendo 64 video game menu.
For
The
what
vibes
game?
are all over the place.
Wave Race.
Wave
I
Race.
already had it in my head. That's what it reminded me of. Wave Race.
Wave Race. Now there's a callback, dude.
That was
my God.
I loved that game.
Anyway, Justin and Derrick, it's been since December since we really talked to you guys after we did the results show from last year.
It's been
What
a
you
while.
guys been up to?
You know, we just kicked off our podcast 3 weeks ago, I think, to get ready for the fall. So we took some time off. We loved that, get some trips in. So it's good to step away, but great to be back.
Oh, for sure. And you guys have been doing a lot of really good, your typical preseason content. You just did, what was it, your Better, Same, Worse episode about a week and a half ago. And what was this latest one? I can't remember.
Oh, talking about the schedule, just
Yes.
looking at the 2025 schedule.
The hard, medium, and easy or whatever.
Easiest to hardest. Yeah.
Yeah. I always love those shows because you guys definitely always bring different opinions, which is always fun. And then, Justin, you just got done hanging out with Jeffrey the Greek at the Eyes on Big podcast, which was excellent, by the way. I thought you represented Nebraska very, very well. And I think out of all the Iowa fans that I've interacted with, Jeffrey the Greek is probably one of the most reasonable, yet he's not afraid to poke when it's proper to poke.
Nah, don't pat his ego.
He's a good dude.
He's my guy. He's my guy.
He's a good dude.
He's a cool dude.
He's cool. He's cool though. Knows his stuff too.
For sure. So anyway, tonight we really don't have much of an agenda other than the over-under game. Justin, I don't know if you have anything just real quick you could recap on anything with recruiting in the last week or so that maybe has changed.
Nah, not really a lot of news other than we got a new recruiting guy in, 26 years old. Done great stuff, helped Michigan recruit their D-line in their D-line classes previous year. So I think he's going to do great things with us on the recruiting trail. So exciting stuff there. But outside of that, it's been pretty quiet so far. Some people are talking about, Valdon Sohn potentially coming to Nebraska. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see why people are saying that, but I'd love to be wrong, but I just don't think that's happening.
That's that defensive end.
Yeah.
Right.
D-line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of a edge rusher type guy. But we've got quite a few of those right now. So 2025 over-under game. This is something we started back in our very first year of doing the podcast, Justin, with the Cuzcast. We kind of reached out to them because we kind of dug the argumentative vibe that they had on their show. And we thought it would help liven ours up a little bit because we tend to be very philosophical. We just kind of go on tangents for a while and we don't really argue too much or interact much. So these guys brought us up a level for sure. And they still keep coming back. I'm not sure what the heck's wrong with them, but we appreciate them for doing it.
It's always a great time. Who doesn't love this?
When I call Justin an idiot, don't think it's you, Justin. It's the Justin up in the other corner.
That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, me?
I'm self-aware, so if you call me one, I get it. It won't offend me. I call myself that in the mirror every day. So.
Look here, idiot. You're good
Yeah.
at what you do. You're good
Thanks,
at what
man.
you do, idiot. Yeah.
I'm good at arguing too. If
Yeah.
you follow me on X, you know that.
This is true.
That's a
Absolutely.
Spaceballs episode. Like, he's an asshole. Aye.
Yeah. That's a throwback.
Yeah, that's right. The new one's coming out here too.
Think it's
I
gonna
haven't
be any
watched.
good?
I have no idea. I have not watched the original Spaceballs since I was. I don't think I was even 20 yet last time I saw it. So I'm going to have to go find it somewhere. You guys know anywhere where that somebody's streaming that?
Spaceballs, yeah, the Pirate Bay.
No, I think it's on like it's either on Peacock or
Okay.
Max.
Okay. Well, definitely need to see that before the next one comes out. And of course, Scott and I were talking about it earlier this week. Speaking of movies that just kind of come out of nowhere and hit you in the side of the head, and you never thought it was going to be good. I just finally, because Scott recommended it, I watched that movie,
Yes.
Nobody, with Bob Odenkirk. Have you guys seen that one?
Never heard of it.
Oh,
Go find it. I can't remember. I think I saw it on Amazon Prime. If you've got it, go watch it. It's fantastic.
it's one of the best, like, not accidental, but it was just like, I just want to watch a movie, and it just showed up, and I was like, I like Bob Odenkirk. I Googled it and saw that the Google user reviews was like 95% or something like that. Like, oh, well, that's ridiculously
I did
good.
see that one. Is that the one where he's like
a retired
CIA operative?
Yeah, I have
or whatever.
seen that. It is pretty good movie. Pretty good movie.
It's very entertaining.
I'm just looking forward to Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, there's that too. For sure. Happy Gilmore is a staple in this house as it gets closer and closer to golf season, right up there with Tin Cup. So, Justin, you said something, Adams, you said something in our text group a week or so ago that you're thinking you're getting golf lessons, you and the old lady?
Me and the wife are going to start here in a little while. We had some money thing come up, so we are kind of saving because we want to, instead of spending money on clubs and stuff like that, we want to go spend the money on lessons and learn how to actually play the game. But we watch a lot of golf YouTube, and we don't golf. Like, that's all we watch is golf YouTube, but we don't golf. So we're like, let's just go learn. It'd be something we can do together. It'd be fun. So
I'll save you. I'll save you the hassle. Don't do it.
Yeah, but the thing about me is,
You're so positive.
I need,
it's the most frustrating game in the world that you're going to learn to love to hate.
But the thing is, you could play me in Uno and I get frustrated. So I'm used to that. And I'm gonna hold myself. Like, I already understand that I suck because I can't even hit the ball really at Top Golf more than 10 yards because I have no idea what I'm doing. So
but
I don't think I'm gonna. No, almost killed my friends on the cart path when I was like 24, and I was using his clubs, and I guess I hit it off the bottom of the club, and it went straight towards and hit the top of the golf cart. So
it happens. Sometimes you hit a birdie girl.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever hit it straight. I don't think I've ever hit it straight, to be honest.
That poor girl probably still has a mark on her face.
A big Titleist right across the right brow.
Top flight back in those days.
Yeah, I would say probably Pinnacle,
maybe a Dunlop.
I'm lefty though, so like that's adding a whole new element to it.
Oh, well, that's a stroke penalty already.
Yeah, it's rough.
For sure.
It's rough out here in the streets.
You could come on up to Nebraska, come out to the country club. We do have a pro out there that's left-handed that teaches. So
I'd love to.
Good dude.
I'd love to.
Pretty good dude. Anyway, let's get to the fun stuff. The 2025 over-under game. We're going to start. We just got 6 categories. I thought about adding a couple more once I realized that Coach wasn't going to be able to be here, but I think this will be enough for tonight. And if we've got some time left over, we could talk about Scott Frost if we really feel like getting pissed. Personally, I don't care anymore. It seems like the only person who cares about how his job went at Nebraska is him nowadays. So anyway, and everybody else that is outside of Nebraska seems to care. But offense, The passing over-under for 2025 is 3,369 yards. Now, Justin, you did send me a DM earlier today, and I apologize. I didn't make it clear to you guys. I should have said this would be for 12 games, but for some reason I set the over-under as if Nebraska goes to a bowl game at the end of this year, and we don't know if they might end up in the playoff. We don't know. You know what I mean? They could end up playing more than 13, so we probably should have based it on 12. So these numbers may seem a little bit high, or if you guys decided to base it on 12, I totally understand that. But offense, I set the over-under at 3,369 yards a game. I have myself, I'm going with the under at 3,257, specifically because I think Raiola is going to be better. I think having Dana Holgorsen as his primary quarterback coach, which tells me I don't know what the hell Glenn Thomas does, is going to be a good thing. And he's always been good with quarterbacks, and his quarterbacks have always performed well. And he's a 5-star. He should be good for 3,200 yards a season, in my opinion. So anyway, that's where I land on the passing over-under. Scott, we'll go with you next.
Yeah, I'm going to go with definitely over. And I'm kind of thinking that Raiola takes a good step forward. And kind of like what you were saying with Holgorsen, being able to gel with his guys, with his playbook and his style and his swagger. And then I just have a feeling that we're going to see a much crispier Dylan Raiola, a much more decisive Dylan Raiola, and a playbook that's going to complement him a little bit better. I'm just thinking if he gets an average of 40 plus yards more per game, which I think is totally attainable, that puts that number right about 3,400. So I went 3,420, so 420. Had to throw that number out there for the funsies, since you there's a little motif that's going to be playing out here, a certain number that's going to be on the over under. And that was my motif. And so my dad took it from me. So I'm going with the 3,420, 3,420 yards. I think sounds about the sweet spot.
Sounds good. How about you, Mr. Adams? What are you thinking? And you cheated. So you're going to have to give me a precise number, not just 3,400.
Where does it say that on the rules?
Hey, I didn't write the rules.
Exactly.
I get to make them on stream, though.
Nah.
The way we've always done it is you've got to give an exact number, because when we get done with the season, no, don't give me this shit.
No, if you don't give me a specific rules, I'm going to break them. Well, you can't break them, but I live in the gray area, so. But yeah, I went over 3,400. Reason being, I think what Dana Holgorsen's going to be doing with this offense is taking what the defense gives in a lot of cases. He's going to come out early, want to get Dylan Raiola in a rhythm. So we're going to see a lot of, 2 to 3 yard passes early in the game just to get the offense rolling and moving. And what we saw last year, especially, in the first couple of games, is he targeted, that intermediate part of the field, which Satterfield didn't do, and targeting that intermediate part of the field. That's going to open up the deep ball, which is going to open up the underneath. And I think the whole goal is to just ride Dylan Raiola as much as possible. I think that deep ball's accuracy is going to be there. I don't think there's going to be a lot of thinking. He's going to have more check down options. When I broke down Satterfield's film, it was routes 30 yards down the field with no outlets. So he's going to be doing a lot of meshes and all that, and have a lot of options to throw to, along with the improved receiver core and his calmness in the pocket. And again, I just think there's going to be a confidence and a leadership about him, where he's going to want to kind of put this team on his back on occasion. I think they're just going to kind of let him loose and show his arm. I mean, you don't get a 5-star quarterback and not let him go out there and showcase his arm. And then you look at some of the quarterbacks that Holgorsen's had in the past, man, they're over 4,000, one of them 5,000 yards. So, I mean, if history is our dictator, there's a few, tough games in terms of really good pass defenses, but I definitely think 3,400. Let's go 3,450. All right, because I almost went 35, but I think he can exceed that number too. So,
okay, number changed. All right, Mr. Fielder, you are up next, sir.
Okay, so I went under. So I don't think of in terms of like total yards. I'm like a yards per game type of guy. So when you look at this 3369 number, that's 259 yards per game. Last year, Nebraska averaged 228 yards per game. Dylan Raiola was 217 yards per game. I like that number. That's a great number that you have there, Ken, but I'm a slight under. I do think that Dylan Raiola, he's going to be vastly improved. I think they upgraded at the playmakers around him, but I'm a slight under at 255 yards per game. I'm not sure what that equals overall, but if you have it there, 33-15. Okay, so not far off from your number.
Yeah, but I don't think there's ever been a show in which I gave a number that you didn't end up picking the under that I can think of. Maybe there was one, but you are the eternal pessimist over there at the Cuz Cast, but I get it. I get it. The Kool-Aid has been giving us all a lot of diabetes lately, and that's just no fun. How about you, Mr. Derrick?
So I went under as well. I got us at about 31-50. Here's my thing. I'm not buying into this wide receiver room until I see it. Everyone says it's better, but they say that every single year, and I can't do it. It's been year after year that I've heard how much better this wide receiver room is. I think Dylan Raiola will improve, but where I think he's going to improve more is his efficiency. I think the touchdown to interception ratio is going to improve considerably.
Nebraska's never had in a long time a potential second round pick in their wide receiver room. Dane Key is that. Dane Key is that.
Justin, they said that about Jamal Banks too.
No. Jamal Banks was not a second round pick.
Omar Manning was.
Dane,
and he never even seen the field.
Omar Manning was a high level recruit, never a second round pick. It's levels to this. And Isaiah Hunter is going to be a playmaker. These are the Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair. Nair was coming off an injury. He had a terrible season the year before, got shuffled out of Texas. Jamal Banks was at Wake Forest. We liked him because he's a big body guy who has the ability. He doesn't drop a lot of passes, so he's more of a possession guy, but not a very crisp route runner. Dane Key, I broke down his film. I posted a couple of them on X. Insanely good route runner. It is unbelievable. He's matched up against the SEC MVP. There's a play I broke down where it's just a 3-yard in route, and he's able to create separation on just a 3-yard in route on a guy that's probably going to the NFL, second or third round pick. So this receiver room, I think we can say that every year about like, Nebraska.
Statistically, Jamal Banks and Dane Key are about the same. I mean, I don't know about route running. I'm not gonna say
their abilities are not even close. Dane Key is
that's fine. But statistically, they're about the same.
But if you look at the film, the actual football and their ability, that's what we need to look at. Stats. I mean, Jamal Banks. You look at the stats, two completely different situations. Situation dictates stats. Dane Key is a second-round pick. Jamal Banks was never even anywhere close to being a thought of a second-round pick.
So, Justin, what kind of year do you expect Dane Key to have to be a second-round pick?
Well, I think Dane Key it depends on, and we got a lot of weapons, so it depends on how much we spread the ball out. But I think if we are to have a 1,000-yard receiver, I think Dane Key would be that guy. He's going to be the guy that we look to on third down, first down. Like he is going to be Dylan Raiola's safety valve. And I think the rest of the offense and the receiver core is going to open up a lot for him, just because I think they're going to be able to, they're not going to be able to double team him a lot. That's going to open up him a lot more, and they're going to feed off of each other. And this receiver core is just a completely different animal than it was last year, because Nebraska attacked it early on in the portal. They spent the most money in the portal on the receiver room, and that was why it was the first position group they went after hard.
So I think it's interesting, when we look at these in terms of like total yards and, yards per game. I mean, you guys see it fairly close numbers wise, being under and over. I mean, you're looking at like 20 yards per game between the two of you. You're at the high end. Derrick is at the low end, but you're really not that far off.
Wasn't it? It's like 300 yards.
3150. Wait, where were you, Derrick? I'm sorry.
3150.
3150.
And
Yeah.
3450.
250 yards. So 20 yards per game is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with Dane Key. Like that's just, and I'm being very conservative there. But like that, what is it? That doesn't really have anything to do with Dane Key. That's just a conservative view of the offensive projection. But I think they can go well over that.
With Dana Holgerson at the helm for sure, I'd say 3369 being the interesting number that I chose is the one that came to mind almost immediately because I don't see any reason why this offense can't exceed 3,000 yards. I would not be surprised to see Dylan Raiola break Joe Gans's single season passing record this year. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. It also wouldn't surprise me if he barely exceeded last year by 150 to 200 yards, depending on how the season goes and depending on what happens week one. I mean, you got to come out of the gate and you got to be firing on all cylinders against Cincinnati, because if you drop that one, yeah, nothing like playing behind the eight ball the rest of the season, which is what they'll be doing. So the key is going to be coming out of the gate strong, I believe, more than anything in Kansas City. So let's move on to offensive rushing. Hey, that's a quick question the other Dave asked, and I think that's a good one to address. How much of the 3,400 plus yards that you said, Justin and Scott, do you believe comes from the running back position?
I think it depends on how a running back rotation looks. There's a lot of uncertainty. Quentin Ives, they're talking about maybe him getting out on receiving more. We'll see. Mekhi Nelson, he's a guy that's going to be able to get out there and run routes, but I think it's hard to tell just with the question mark of experience in this running back room. Emmett is, Emmett's that guy, but a lot of inexperience behind him.
For sure. Didn't he have like 350 or 450 rushing yards last year? Because I know he led the team in all-purpose yards.
Who, Emmett?
Emmett, yeah.
I cannot remember off the top of my head.
You mean receiving yards, right, Ken?
Receiving yards, yes, sir.
290 yards.
And then the Wisconsin game was one of his best in that regard.
Yep. He had a very balanced output that day. A lot of rushing and receiving. It was really good. That was where you saw the real effect of the Holgerson running attack for sure. Anybody else have anything on the passing offense? Are we ready to move on?
Ready.
All righty. Rushing offense, I set the over-under at 2,169 yards. So I'll show everybody, instead of just trying to type all these in while everybody's talking, I'm just going to show what everybody picked because it's a hell of a lot easier this way. We'll go ahead and start with you you were the last one to go on the last one, Derrick. Why don't you be the first one to go on this one? What's your thoughts on the over-under that you picked here?
All right. So I'm going to go under on this one again. I don't know what the running back rotation is going to look like. I know they're hearing a lot about Mekhi Nelson. I don't know what he's really going to bring to the table. Quentin Ives is rather limited in experience. Emmett Johnson's, I think, really good, but I don't think he's going to probably be 1,000-yard back. Maybe if he is, it's not going to be by much. So to get 2169, you're going to have a lot of carries and a lot of yards from another running back, and I just don't know if I see it right now. So I went under with about 1870.
Okay. Mr. Fielder.
So I have 2015, which is 155 yards per game. We were 130 yards per game last year. I like Emmett Johnson a lot. I loved him last year. He's going to be the bell cow. But, it's just like what Justin and Derrick were alluding to earlier. They're very inexperienced back there. And I thought it was an interesting development that they're moving Isaiah Mosey to running back for 2025. I don't know what that means. I mean, is he more talented there? Do they not trust the guys that they do have there? Mekhi Nelson that we've talked about here a little bit. The staff talked about him a lot last year, a lot. We didn't really see him. So it'd be interesting to see what his development will be.
They talked about Quentin Ives a lot last year too, and we didn't see much of him either.
Yeah. And so I am probably on offense, running back is the one that I'm worried about the most. And it has to do with all experience. You're losing a lot of experience at the running back room from last year headed into this year. I got 155.
We also weren't even close to this last year.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to think this running back room with limited experience is suddenly going to get 500-600 yards more than they got last year.
Right.
All right, Mr. Adams.
Yeah, so I went over partially because I do expect Nebraska to kind of play with the lead a little bit more this season. I think the schedule is a little bit more favorable in that regard. And I think we saw remnants of what this offense is going to look like when they unlock Emmett. A lot of the season with Satterfield's offense, in the air raid, they spread out the offensive line splits a lot more. The whole goal of the air raid is to spread the field out horizontally so that way they can make the defenders cover grass, open up more windows for Dylan Raiola. And once they spread the offense more horizontally, that's when you start attacking up the middle with that run game. West Virginia, I talk about it a lot. 2016, Holgerson's offense averaged 220 yards per game or something like that. And I think they really want to establish a run this year. So I'm going to go over. I've been a huge Quentin Ives fan since he got here, just waiting for the opportunity for him to go out there and just make it happen. Mekhi, I've talked with Mekhi's dad a lot, and he's talked me through Mekhi's game. I think we can expect a lot from Mekhi this year because I think the staff is high on him for a very good reason. I think he's a guy who can go out there and do a number of things. I think you can line him up, in the slot, whatever. I think Mosey, part of the reason they want to get him in that backfield is kind of to be kind of a Swiss Army knife. They talked about before kind of like the 49er style offense, and you can use him as kind of a Deebo Samuel type of player. But also I think that goes towards how good our wide receiver room is this year. So I think it was similar to kind of Carter Nelson where, they wanted to get him out there receiver. So, it was easier for him to learn, how to go out there and play receiver while he was learning the ins and outs of the tight end position, bulking up. And I think they just think Mosey's so good that they want to get him out in the field and contributing in some way. So, so I'm going over.
Are you going to stick with the straight up 2,200 yards, or do you want to modify that and be a little more specific?
22-30.
22-30. Yeah, I got to have specifics, Justin. You can't change the rules on me.
You didn't set rules.
That's okay. I did, just not with you.
Exactly.
There's always been rules.
Now
I forgot to tell you what they were.
Now
Figured you'd get them by osmosis, but
No, I think I'm going to have to dip off. I think some people are happy about that on here, so I'm going to have to dip off. So I'm going to go pick up my wife. I pick up on things pretty easily. So I'm going to hop off here, and I'm going to go pick up my wife.
Justin, before you go, talk about Emmett Johnson. How many carries per game do you think he's good for this year?
Man, that's a great question. That's really tough because I think it's going to be so sporadic based on the game flow. But I would love to see him up over, that 20 yards per carry. But it depends on, last year the running back rotation didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm really curious to see how Holgerson deploys it and how his rotation looks. But I think, whenever Dowdle left or whenever Emmett left, Holgerson guaranteed him at minimum a 50-50 split of this offense. And that was that was when we thought we might get somebody else in the portal. So I think that number goes up significantly. That was a minimum. So I think they're gonna lean on him pretty heavily. But when we're talking about, people ask if we're gonna have over 1,000-yard rusher. I don't think having over 1,000-yard rusher is necessarily I think he goes over like 1,500 all-purpose yards pretty easily on the season. So. But it all depends on how they deploy this running back room and how they kind of get that rotation. But hopefully somewhere in that.
So you think he's a guy that can carry the ball 20 times a game in,
100%.
game out? I mean, he looks the part, right?
100%. He bulked up. You see how big he is right now?
Yeah,
He's
he looks the
huge.
part.
I'll say this. I firmly believe this. If he is not a 1,000-yard running back, then there's no way we're hitting 2,000 rushing.
Okay.
That's my belief.
That's fair.
Cool. I'm out.
See you,
Hey,
Justin.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Justin.
y'all.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Later. Oh, this is fun. It's always fun. We done with the rushing? We good to that? Ready to go to scoring offense?
Well, I don't think either you or I went over
Oh,
ours.
we did not, did we? See, I'm
Yep.
over here typing. Go ahead, Scott. My bad.
It's all good. Yeah, I picked an insanely high number just for fun. Because I was gonna do the under, and I was gonna shoot for, like, if I was playing realistic, yeah, I'd probably be right around that 2,000 mark, give or take, 50 yards in either direction. But then I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play this category specifically. Like, what would I want to see this year? Best case scenario. Let's say Emmett Johnson has an outstanding year. We've got a bunch of other guys that we're still unsure of. But if there's anything that I can extrapolate from that, that half of the season where Holgerson kind of took over, there was a clear night and day difference of the continuity that we saw in our running back room. And that was just an immediate change with little to no preparation. And well, I mean, sure, there was preparation, but you know what I mean? There was little to no landing strip for that exactly. So what is an off season going to look like for this running back room once, Holgerson really has this whole system kind of locked in? So this is my best case scenario. I think we could definitely, I don't see a world where we don't get over 2,200 yards of rushing. Like I mean, I see what I mean by that is it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. And because I love the running game, every single time I play NCAA football, I am a run first guy. I pass as an absolute last resort. And it's just because it's just such a fun aspect of football when you have a just completely dominant running game. So I picked this number specifically just because I thought it would be fun. So I've got 2,275 yards, a definite over, and here's praying that I'm right. That would be sick.
Yeah, I'm slightly under myself, if I recall my number correctly. 2157, I think, is what I picked. Yes, 2,057. My bad. 2,057. I do think Emmett could be 1,000-yard back. I think with Dylan slimming down a little bit, getting in better shape, working on his cardio with all the boxing stuff he did in the offseason and all those things, I think I'm anticipating him pulling the ball a couple of times on some zone reads in each game. I could see him churning out a couple 100 yards this season. Maybe on some scrambles, gets out of some of those situations he used to get sacked in a lot last year. Just couldn't get his tubby butt moving down the field. So I see that being a little bit more productive. I could see Emmett knocking out 1,000 yards on the ground this year. So I went with just over 2,000 at 2,057.
All right, for bonus points, Ken, you're talking about Dylan Raiola rushing the ball. If you set the over-under at 250 yards rushing for Dylan Raiola, would you go over?
Would I go over? Whew, that's a good question, because it's like
I'd go over if it was 250 negative yards.
I'd go. Well, if you're not including,
that's just under 20 yards per game.
How about 50
games? So I'm not counting sacks. Sacks don't go into this number.
You shouldn't, but they do.
Yeah,
but
I know. But for this purpose, just take out the sacks.
I'd probably take a slight under. I'd probably take a slight under. Yeah, I could see him going for 20 a game, but you get against some of those tougher Big Ten defenses that don't allow the run very much. I don't see him being very productive in that area, but I could see him running a little bit on some some of these teams in the non-conference schedule for sure, just to give the Big Ten teams, oh crap, this kid can move a little, make them worry a little bit about the fact that his legs work for a change. So I mean,
I'll say this. This is as the offense as a whole here. Based off the numbers everybody's putting out there, I'm figuring about 5,400 total yards, which is about 450 yards a game.
mm-hmm.
That puts us at a number 13 offense nationally.
I'd take it.
I would take it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if there's going to be that much improvement. Like, that would be a massive improvement.
What's 410, Derek? Do you have what 410 is? Because I think it's going to be about 410, 415-ish.
410 would put you about 42, which is where Alabama was last year.
Okay.
And that I could buy. That's a little closer to what I think we could do.
Yeah, that's where I have my numbers.
Are you talking about total? You're talking about total
yards,
total offense.
Yeah. Total offensive yards, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because the over-under I've got for passing would have a 17th, according to this year's production, or 2024 would have been 17th in 2024 at 3,369 yards, or 60th in the country at 2,169 yards on the ground. Holgorsen has been known to throw top 20 offenses out there on the field as an offensive coordinator for certain. I just think he's more free to coach that side of the ball and coach it a little more efficiently because he's not having to deal with all the head coaching duties that he would have had to deal with at West Virginia. Plus, he's a big proponent of running the ball as well now, as opposed to just throw it all over the yard. So, and I think he showed that at West Virginia as well, and some at Houston. So
we'll see how that works out, because I think Rule will try to keep him under ropes a little bit, just because he likes to have a good defense, and he doesn't want that offense going out there running 100 plays a game. So I think I think he'll keep him down a little bit. Like, I don't think it's quite a free for all that everybody else thinks it's going to be with Dana Holgorsen.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a fast-paced Scott Frost offense either. I'm not saying just because it's going to be a Holgorsen offense that they're going to be running a play every 16 seconds. I'm just saying I think the plays are going to be much more efficient and much more successful. I mean, you saw what he was able to do with them at Johnson in 3 games, those last 3 games of the year, other than Iowa, of course. That was but not too many people were doing much against Iowa last year either. So anyway, let's get cranking over to the scoring offense here, and I'll throw Justin's numbers up there because I already had him in here anyway. So Justin Adams is going with I set the scoring over under at 29.7 points per game, which would put us not even in the top 50 in scoring last year. So I'd say that's a reasonable number. Probably means with all the yards that we're gaining, though, that we're pretty good between the 20s. And yet again, we kind of suck at sticking it in the end zone. But hey, what's our past been so far? We kind of suck at putting it in the end zone. But I've got it at just about a touchdown improvement over the 23.5 points per game last year. I'm saying we score 29.3 at a slight under. So, Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a slight under. I would be very happy with right around that 28, getting that extra 4 points a game, which, of course, that was our whole motif or motto last year, was chasing 3. Give me 4 more points per game. And with the numbers that we've been throwing out there, it's pretty much inevitable that we're scoring about 4 more points per game on average. Yeah, I mean, what else would you want? If you got 28, you're in 28 points per game, 28 and a half, 29, something like that. We're sitting right in the middle of the nation. We're right around that, 50s, 60s within the national ranks. And then that puts us up in like the top 5, top 6 within the Big Ten. I'd be very happy with that. And I think it's completely possible with the stats that all of us, even though we're kind of varying quite a bit, it's pretty much inevitable that we're going to be scoring in the 28s, which would be really nice.
All right, Mr. Fielder.
Yeah, I have 28.2 here. I think we're going to be vastly improved over last year's 23.5 mark. Dana Holgerson, his offense just looks better. We've seen remnants of what that could look like against Wisconsin, and we beat the shit out of them. It kind of stalled out against the other 3 games with Iowa, Boston College, and the first one I forget. But anyway, say again.
USC, I believe.
USC. Yeah. So, but we saw what it could look like, and with a whole off season and upgrade in talent around Dylan Raiola, I expect it to go up.
Derek?
So again, I'm not necessarily buying into the upgrade in talent around Dylan Raiola yet. So I went under. I think we improve, but I don't think it's quite as much as everyone else thinks it is. I'm going with about 27 points a game. It's been I believe 6 years since we've scored more than 27 points a game. I don't know that this year is the year that we automatically just jump up that high. So,
Alrighty. What would, just a question for you, Derek, what would you consider to be an upgrade of talent around Dylan? What would the coaching staff have needed to do to upgrade the talent? Or are you just, no matter what, it's just a wait and see because they're
I'm just going to wait and see. I've seen it too many times. I've seen it with 1,000 guys coming in here that I've been told have been better, and I haven't seen it. So until I actually see it, I'm just staying in the wait and see mode. I bought him to him the last like 5 years, and I've talked good about the wide receiver room, and I refuse to do it this year until I see it.
I mean, talent like around him. Offensive line is improved, right, Ken? But when you look at like the running back room and then you look at the tight end room, both of those position units headed in 2025 are probably in worse shape than they were last year. The only one that you can make an argument for that improved is the wide receiver room, which I firmly believe the wide receiver room is improved. But the other 2 units, they look to be worse off than last year, right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so because Thomas Fedoni was an all-world tight end, supposedly. He did jack squat while he was here. Now, you could make the argument that injuries held him back and all those kinds of things, but I think there's definitely talent in that tight end room. I'm still, for me, the jury's out whether or not there's talent in the headset.
So you're saying, a tight end that got drafted is not talented?
And didn't he finish in like the top 10 receiving yards in Nebraska as a tight end?
But compared to the hype he came in with?
I understand that. He kind of disappointed from what we were going to get, but he was still a solid tight end. He had a lot of receptions, a lot of yards.
Wow. Do you have a fever, Justin?
He made a...
I'm just saying. I just think with him leaving...
Well, I just think it's funny that you have yet to say anything good about Thomas Fedoni on our podcast, and you're sticking up for me.
No, I'm just saying, where he was as a tight end last year, the people that coming back with Carter Nelson, Henrik Harburg, and Lindenmeyer, I mean, they're fine tight ends, but are they at Thomas Fedoni level? And
Carter Nelson is.
And let's not forget, you lose Nate Borkercher as well, who
to
transferred to Texas.
That's probably what hurts a little bit. And I'm hoping that
it's those 2 guys right there.
Well,
right?
I'm hoping Harburg can be at least as good or better than Borkercher.
I guess
Borkercher was serviceable at best. I mean, he was good. I don't know if I'd call him great by any stretch of imagination.
No, but Dana Holgerson used him a lot more than what Satterfield ever did.
So when I'm looking at the metric of are we going to improve, I think the most common theme that has ailed Nebraska in the last 5, 6, 7 years hasn't necessarily been a lack of talent. It's been a lack of coaching productivity, a lack of development. And so when I'm looking at potentials for improvement, it's not necessarily what do we know we've got in the room that they're actually serving their role in. I'm looking at, do we have a coaching staff that's actually capable of producing good talent? once again, in the past, we have definitely made apologetics for certain coaches that we've brought in, or certain, but really that's that. There have been coaches in the past that we were like, man, this guy coming in, maybe he's going to be the change that we need to see in this room. But the difference is that last year, near the end, when Holgorsen really got the full reins of this offense and was able to do what he did in a short period of time, was it perfect? No. Was it an absolute positive bell curve change? Not necessarily, but the trends were pretty obvious to me that we've got a better coaching staff. And if I'm betting money, I'm not betting money on the talent and within the room itself. I'm betting money on the coaching staff being able to extract that talent. And so, we can sit here and point, there's question marks in the tight end room, and there's question marks in the running back room. Yeah, well, coaches tend to make do with what they've got. Good coaches do. And I'm sure that there's plenty of teams across the country throughout many, many years that their fans, their analysts are all having question marks within certain aspects of their team. And then they go out there with their new coach and they go and do great things. Nebraska just hasn't had that in a long time. We've had plenty of coaches in the past at Nebraska that showed up and made an immediate, noticeable, tangible difference in a room, which was a question mark for Husker fans. And so that's what I'm looking at, is not necessarily, do we know if this guy is going to do the thing we want him to do? Is the coach going to be able to coach him up correctly?
Scott, I will completely agree with you. We upgraded talent, or we upgraded coaching across the board. However, the running back room and tight end room retained the exact same coaches as last year.
But they are kind of hindered by, like, who is actually running the offense, who's calling the plays, who's actually setting them up and putting them in advantageous situations, and not just YOLO.
Well, I mean, that tight end coach, he was calling the plays.
Exactly. That's
I know.
The tight end coach is the most questionable retention, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah,
I think Barthel is probably pretty good, and when you made the combination of Barthel with Holgorsen and utilizing Emmett Johnson's athleticism, you saw an immediate upgrade in Emmett's play. Immediate. So my guess is, if you don't see these tight ends start producing in the way that Holgorsen likes to use tight ends now, he does. He likes to use those guys. He likes to split them out if they're a little more athletic, like a Harburg or Carter Nelson is, and run those. So I can't remember what the routes are that Coach BA talked about that they like to run with the tight ends, but he does. And he loves to manipulate that middle of the field with the tight end and the running game and all that stuff. So, the intermediate stuff, you're going to see a lot of guys catching balls over the middle this year. And I think Harburg and Nelson are going to be two of the guys that Dylan's looking for early and often. And with as athletic as both those guys are, it could be a lot of fun to watch. Problem is, I don't know how well Satterfield's style is going to mesh with Holgorsen's style. That's my only concern, really, on this offense, not necessarily anything else.
So I'm gonna be the negative Nancy here, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna tell you guys.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, this is a big shock.
I'm shocked.
So this I want to go back to what Scott says, because I do tend to agree with you on most of what you said. And I don't believe this was as much a talent issue as a coaching issue. But I'm going to bring up the old saying of newer is always better, right? So we always get all these new coaches, and we always assume they're going to be better. But the last 20 years hasn't proved that. And so, again, I'm in wait and see mode. Like, I know we think these coaches are better. The wide receiver coach seems to be an obvious better. But I haven't seen him coach at Nebraska yet, and I haven't seen him coach in the Big Ten yet. So I don't know what that's going to bring. I seen this defensive line coach, who I think is going to be a really good coach, but he's never been a full-on defensive line coach. He's only been an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's tough for me to just sit here and go, oh, we got these new coaches that are going to be better. I remember thinking Matt Lubick was going to be the coach. Like, this guy, he coached at Oregon, and the wide receivers under him were phenomenal. He came in here and they were dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's what I was kind of
so
alluding
this
to
isn't-
earlier.
So pardon me if I'm not going to sit here and go, Dykeel Shorts is like assistant coach of the year right now. It's tough for me to sit here
Nobody's
and
saying
these
that.
improvements. It's tough for me to sit here and think these improvements are going to be automatic when I have yet to have seen that with replacing coaches since 2002.
Yeah, and I'd say that where I'm seeing the positive trend is kind of the hierarchy of coach complementariness. I don't know what the word is for that, but like you got a good head coach and you got good coordinators, and they're going to complement the position coaches. And so you could have arguably mediocre position coaches, but if your offensive coordinators and your defensive coordinators and your head coach are like primo top dogs, like they're going to really make up for whatever mediocrity those position coaches are doing. And I'd say that's where I'm feeling pretty warm and fuzzy, at least in the offense. Is I feel pretty confident in Dana Holgorsen and his ability to make the position coaches look better than they might actually be.
We'll see.
If that makes sense.
But I think what to your point on Terry Braden, Derek, I understand that trepidation. I have the same questions myself. How good is this guy going to be when he actually gets under fire in a Big Ten game against a big time opponent in the Big Ten? Thank goodness we do have at least some experience above him in the headsets and, Rules going into his third year going around the Big Ten, trying to figure out how to play defense in the Big Ten. His defenses have always played well. So that's a history I'm going to draw from, is that Rules defenses, since he's been at Nebraska, have played well. Unfortunately, there have been some times in the fourth quarter where the defensive line did get a little bit worn down. I'm hoping we have a few more pieces in place where you could rotate a little bit more and prevent some of that. And you've got Phil Snow. And Rule's a line guy. He loves the defensive line. So he's going to be, I think, pretty involved in that part of the defense as well. So that gives me a little hope that we've got an upgrade at that spot, or at least we're going to tread water at defensive line at the same level as we had with Terrence Knighton. Because we really didn't know what Terrence Knighton was going to be when he got here either. Turns out he was pretty dang good at what he did. So
excellent segue into defense.
Absolutely it is. So
well done.
Passing over under is set at 2,869 yards. Last year, Nebraska ranked in the 72nd in the NCAA at 2,817. I went with slightly more yardage that the defense will give up, simply because we've changed defensive coordinators, we've changed defensive line coaches, we've got a new defensive backs coach. How all that meshes, how all that works together, I think we'll be okay. And we'll be similar to last year, just slightly over, and that will give up 2,800 and whatever it was, 869 yards is what I said. So here's our numbers that we all came up with. We'll start with you, Derek. Go ahead. Looks like we're all pretty positive on this one.
I'm going.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
Justin.
Okay. Maybe it's just the semantics here. 2,869 is the number. You're under 2,857, not over.
Yeah.
Okay.
But 2,800.
But under is good in this case. Yeah.
2,869 is slightly over what Nebraska gave up last year, is what I was saying. Sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
All right. So I'm going to start off with saying I like John Butler. I think this is going to be a good defense. I think there's a lot of anticipation of this defense taking a massive drop-off. And I don't personally see a massive drop-off. I think the pass defense is going to be much improved. I think the secondary is coming in with 4 out of 5 returning starters, and I think they're going to be really good. I took way under this, and I went with 2,450. I think our pass defense is what's going to keep us in this game, in the games.
So about 200 yards a game, you think the defense is going to give up through the air. Okay. All right, Mr. Fielder.
So I'm under as well. I have 2,665 yards total, which comes down to 205 yards per game passing defense. Now, that's an improvement over the 2024 numbers by about 11 yards, almost 12 yards. There were 216.7 yards, which was 11th in the Big Ten. And I do think because I like the defensive back room as well. I think the experience that we have returning, CR Wright, I mean, god dang, he's such a dude. Everybody loved Tommy Hill. CR Wright was so much better than Tommy Hill.
Well, let's hope injuries don't play a factor.
Well, let's not be jinxing shit, Derek. Okay.
Well, I think Tommy Hill would have been fine had it not been for injuries. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, thank God he got hurt. That's a terrible thing to say, but
Flip it.
yeah, but CR Wright, I mean, we would have missed out on CR Wright.
On the other side, I believe if we'd had Tommy Hill and CR Wright on the corners,
but they had CR Wright and they wouldn't play him opposite Tommy Hill.
Why not?
He needed his chance to shine in game time.
You still get two corners.
Was he a featured guy there opposite Tommy Hill?
He should have been.
I don't remember.
I don't think
He was opposite of Tommy last year.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't.
I guess I would need a coach to come in and tell me. Does it matter which side of the field?
No. I'm sure that has some to do with it. But was he out there a lot before?
No, but
Tommy
that's
Hill
what I'm
got hurt?
saying is he probably should have been.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He should have been. I just don't know.
I think a healthy Tommy Hill and a Sierra Wright would have been a monstrous defensive back room.
Yeah.
And you don't know. I don't know. I don't remember if I read much about it. If Sierra, it took him a little bit to kind of get acclimated to the defense, and then he kind of came on toward the end of the year, namely because of Tommy Hill's injury, and also because he was fully ready to perform in his spot that he needed to perform.
Well, remember, he didn't get here till like August.
August, right? That's what I mean. He missed spring ball. You know, he just came in right at fall camp, so he probably wasn't quite up to speed, and he really didn't see what he was capable of doing until the USC game.
Well, I remember when he came in, it was kind of like an oh shit moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Hill's out, CR Wright's in, and it was like an oh shit moment for the fans. They're like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? And then after the game was over, it was like, wow, there was no drop off from Tommy Hill to CR Wright. And he just excelled even beyond that. So anyway, I am under 205 yards per game. It's an improvement over last year, but it is an under. Well, in this case, an under is a good thing.
Yep. Justin Adams had the under as well at 2,500 yards. And then Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll admit, defense has always been a hard thing for me to conceptualize projecting. Especially when you get coaching changes. Offense is so easy for me to understand because you have a quarterback and he runs everything, and then you have your skill position guys and all that. But the defense always just seems to be something that I have a hard time. Not necessarily understanding, but just how do I project what our defense is going to do? So with that pretense out of the way, I have no idea. I would love to see us stay about the same. I think we're going to do better. You guys brought up exactly kind of the one position group that I feel pretty good about, which is our defensive backs. If our defensive line maintains kind of the same, maybe they take a step back a little bit. Everybody seems to think that's what's going to happen, and I'm probably one of those people too. I have a feeling that our defense is going to be fine. I think they're going to be pretty much relatively the same this year that they were last year, aside from, I think, our rushing defense, which I'll get into that. But if our cornerback room can keep this new Big Ten that we are now seeing, this more explosive offensive production type of conference that we are now kind of evolving into, as long as our secondaries are doing their job and they're filling out that intermediate, I'm a happy camper. So I've gotten under just because I'm feeling a little bit warm and fuzzy about this team this year. So I'm going to go with an under of 2,777.
Yeah, I was fairly similar. I mean, my under is just slightly under what I've got for the over-under for the year at 2,857 yards, which is just slightly over what Nebraska gave up last year. I think it's like 40 yards over. I think that's a fairly safe bet. like we all like this defensive back room. We've got a lot of guys in the room, so there's going to be depth. Here's hoping we don't have to use a whole lot of it. But I do like the pass defense. I do like John Butler's a more aggressive play caller. If you remember watching the bowl game, there was a lot of blitzes. There were a lot of things where Boston College didn't know where the pressure was going to come from. So I like that. I like, of course, high risk, high reward, right? That's why I've kind of got the over under a little bit higher, because we are going to be a little bit more of a risk-taking defense, but I like that. So 28-57 is my number. You had something to say, Derek?
Yeah. So you bring up that part of we didn't really talk about that part of the pass defense. We talked about the defensive backs mostly, but I like the blitz packages that John Butler brings. And I like the defensive line as far as being able to rush a quarterback. I like the linebackers to be able to blitz a quarterback. I think we can put a lot of pressure on a quarterback in these situations, and I think that will cause a quarterback to throw some mistakes that will help make this defensive back room better. I like the defense. I like the pass defense on this team quite a bit.
Derek, do you think it's improved over last year, the pass rush?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Even with the loss? Who do you like?
With John Butler's blitz packages, yes. It's not an individual player. It's his blitz packages. I like better than what Tony White ever had.
Hey, I love a good blitz.
Hey, who doesn't?
That's a pretty good one. I love a good blitz. So, yeah, you're right. During that Boston College game, it was like, ooh, this is kind of fun.
Kind of spicy. It's not lost on me that Vincent Shavers Jr. had his best game of the season in the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was largely
and Willis McGahee.
Butler was running that defense that day. So
and Willis McGahee. He had a great game that game too.
There you go. The other Dave makes a good point. I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you. Rule has never had a bad defense. Phil Snow plus John Butler equals better than Tony White. See the UCLA game. Amen to that. That was we were there for that. Shivered our ass all the way through
UCLA or Indiana.
That was miserable. Yeah, it was too much reactive defense, not enough attack. All right, defensive rushing over under. Last season, Nebraska gave up 1,316 yards. I've got this year's defenses over and under just slightly higher at 1,369. So there we go. There's our numbers, and I'll lead off. I've got us. If you've noticed, you probably haven't, but those of you who have keen attention to detail skills, all of my predictions for the over-under have ended with the number 57. Not that it's a lucky number. It's just that's how old I am. So I figured, hey, I'm going to play my age this year and see if it wins me a couple of categories.
I hope your age doesn't get us to 5 and 7 this year. I'd be pissed.
Don't start with me on that now. Don't start with me. See, I don't want to be 75 before we
Justin,
win.
this is why people want to kick you in the nuts.
So I did go with
this is the reason, Derek. Come on now.
There's a lot of reasons, but this is one of them.
Where I feel good about the pass game, I feel some trepidation about the running game with the loss of those. You don't lose a guy like Nash and Ty, who are so good against the run. I know Rule has said it public, and I know he told Riley Van Poppel this. He said you can redshirt this year and be Ty Robinson next year, meaning he could be as productive. I'm just not sure. We got a new defensive line coach, right? We've talked about that earlier, Derek, that we're just not sure what that's going to look like. Phil Snow, I think, is probably used to coaching in some of the more high-flying leagues and not necessarily used to the ground and pound that you're going to get from some Big Ten teams. So I'm worried about what Michigan can do when they come into Lincoln. We saw they ran all over us 2 years ago. They haven't lacked talent. They've still got the talent. They've just got different coaches. So I'm a little worried about that one. I'm a little bit worried about what Penn State's two-headed attack of just crazy good running backs are going to do to us in Happy Valley. So I've got it slightly over at 1,457 yards this year. Scott?
Yeah, I've got us in an over. We had a good rush defense last year. Don't get me wrong. It was pretty dang good, especially when we played against teams where we were expecting to get a little bit more beat up in the running game, and it just didn't happen. Are we going to see that same kind of statistical consistency of rush defense? I'm not too sure about that. I think we're going to have a much more aggressive and explosive defense, but I think it's probably going to end up getting us a little bit more chunk yards kind of thrown at us that we don't necessarily like. It's going to affect the stats a little bit, but I don't think I'll preface this. I don't think our defense is going to feel worse in the rush defense category. I don't think it's going to feel worse. It's just going to look a little bit worse statistically, just because, like I said, I think we're going to be a little bit more aggressive, and we're going to get caught with our pants down a few times, and that's going to add up over time. But I've got an over at 1,665, and I think that's still pretty dang good.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Fielder. Justin Adams had 1,500, so
1,500
at the over. He's even going over.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's so hard to go over last year's numbers. I mean, last year we were 8th in the nation, but only 5th in the Big Ten. That's how great defensive lines were, and the rush defenses were in the Big Ten. 101 yards per game is what Nebraska allowed last year. Losing Ty Robinson and, all of the guys that we lost on the defensive line, Ty Robinson, Nash, Jamari Butler, James Williams, Prince Will. There's a lot of bodies, a lot of good football players that we lost. And, returning guys like Cam Lenhart, Elijah Judy, Keona Davis, and Riley Van Poppel. Sure, Riley Van Poppel is going to be a stud by the time he's a senior. He's probably a stud now, but I don't know what that's going to look like in 2025 because he's still young. He definitely has the potential. I think there's a downgrade in talent. And then behind the obvious 4 or 5, I mean, what does depth look like? What does the rotation look like on defensive line? I guess linebackers are okay. I mean, they're comparable. They'll be comparable to last year, if not slightly improved. But that defensive front, that scares me a little bit. So I think that we're going to give up a lot of yards rushing. I have like 130 yards per game right now, which is good for 1,690 yards for the rush defense. But that defensive line, that's the outside of running back. I mean, defensive line is right up there with my most concerning position groups headed into 2025.
Alrighty. Derek.
Well, I don't know if you're considering a bowl game or if you're doing this off of.
It's 13 games. I had to ask him.
Yeah. It's based on 13 games. Sorry.
Because I have us at 1,600 yards, which is over. But look.
Is that based off 12?
That's based off 12. I have us about 130 yards a game as well. I think that's about where we're at. I don't think that's a bad defense, and I think you're underestimating Riley Van Poppel a little bit. The depth, I understand your concern because you're replacing. It's really Nash and Ty. Those are the 2 rushing defensive linemen that I'm worried about replacing. Jamari Butler wasn't great at stop and run. He was a great pass rusher.
Yep.
But he wasn't always great at stopping and run. So replacing him, I don't think is as big of an issue. Is it an issue? Sure. But I don't think it's as big of an issue as Ty and Nash. Replacing those 2 is going to be tough. I think Riley Van Poppel can replace one of them. I don't think you're going to replace both of them. And I don't know who's going to replace the other one. So I do think it'll be over. I don't think it'll be detrimental. I agree with Scott in the fact that I agree that the stats probably won't look as good, but I don't think it'll be detrimental to the defense. I think the defense will still look good. I don't think they'll score a ton of us on rushing. I think there will be some plays where we're going, oh shit, that should have been caught at the line, but we were being too aggressive. But at the end of the day, I don't think it'll be enough to hurt us defensively. I think this. I believe the other Dave said something about Rule being a good defensive mind and having Phil Snow here and John Butler. And I can't see a scenario where Matt Rule allows this to be a bad defense.
Right.
So
well, I think schemes is different than having the people to play the line.
You play the schemes to your talent. And Matt Rule has proven that that's what he's trying to do. He's not playing a schemes schematically. He's playing to the talent that he has on his team, which is a big difference between him and Scott Frost.
Yeah, because how much does Riley Van Poppel weigh?
He's a beast, dude. I mean, he's put on.
He's in that Ty Robinson area, up in the three bills, and explosive, quick off the ball. So he could be pretty impressive.
I think by the time he is a senior, I mean, he is going to be one of the better.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he and Elijah Judy look like lined up next to each other, or Keona Davis.
I don't know. This might just be me, but I have not been completely impressed with Elijah Judy. I mean, from his time in Lincoln, I don't think he's impressive at all. I mean, he's serviceable. I don't get the thing with Keona Davis. I think he could be good, but we just haven't seen it. I don't know. That's just me.
Just a lot of glazing.
We haven't seen it because we really haven't needed to. You had Ty and Nash that were
fair
productive. So we're going to need them now. So we'll see what happens. All right, scoring defense. Nebraska gave up under 20 points a game, if I remember correct, last year. So I've got it slightly over last year. Last year was 19.5 points per game, 17th in the NCAA, 7th in the Big Ten. 7th in the Big Ten at less than 20 points a game. I mean, there was some crazy good defense last year. 20.7 is what I got the over-under at for this season. That would be 25th in the NCAA, according to last year's numbers, and 9th in the Big Ten. I don't think that's much of a drop-off, a little bit, but I think it's good enough to get us for certain in a bowl, if not a bowl, sometime after Christmas, which would be awesome. That's my whole hope this year. Can we go to a bowl game that's after Christmas? That'd be awesome. Anyway, there's the numbers. Derrick, you go ahead.
All right. I'm a firm believer in Matt Rule when it comes to defenses. I like Phil Snow. I think he will be good. I also don't think we play a lot of hot offensive teams outside of USC, Penn State, and maybe UCLA. So I think we will shut shit down. I'm going under here. I'm going 17.5. I think scoring defense will actually look better than what it did last year. We just don't play any good offenses.
That's a good point. That's a very good point because, yeah, you're right. Outside of...
And I don't think we're going to have an Indiana game where they score 56 on us.
Yeah, that's even crazier to think that our stats were the way they were when you have that offsetting stat there. That's pretty crazy. All right, what about you, Justin?
I think I have 22 right here. I think it's going to be a little bit worse than last year. 22 is still pretty good. But I'm telling you, I have real concerns about that defensive line. I think that might be the difference in several games, especially depth. I think
I think by the time they get 3 games under their belt, they've already had games under their belt. Remind you, they've already played. They have some experience. They're not.
They have a lot of experience. They have a lot of experience, Derrick.
So, and they get 3 games under their belt before they play any real team, any real good team. I mean, when it comes to, we're talking about Michigan here. I think the defensive line while they may start off slow, I think by the end of the year they will be much improved, or not improved over the season from last year, but I think they'll be fine. I think they will absolutely be.
We play the better teams at the end of the season.
But I think so they have that much time to improve.
Mm-hmm.
They have half a season to improve before we start playing the tough teams.
What would 17.5 be in the Big Ten?
It would
Good
be
question.
Last
fifth.
year?
It'd be sixth.
Sixth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, it'd be fifth. It'd be fifth. Just in front of Iowa.
Oh, we could finish ahead of Iowa in total defense. It'd be awesome. Or in scoring.
It's a tall task right there, guys. It's a very tall task.
Yeah, I was looking at fun stats. I was curious that last year there were only 18 teams in the entire NCAA, or sorry, 19 teams in the entire NCAA that had a scoring defense of less than 20 points. And the Big Ten had 8 of them.
Yep. I was looking at that too. Strangely enough, Justin Adams is the most pessimistic about the defensive scoring at 23 points a game. I thought that was interesting.
Contrast.
And you, Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of in that camp of our defense is going to look relatively the same. I just don't know with that interior defensive line when we're in the red zone type of situations if we're going to be able to shut those situations down as efficiently as we did last year.
I think the difference is we won't allow them into those scoring situations the way we did last year.
And that's fair. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Unless it's a blocked punt against Iowa.
Don't make me relive that. That's terrible.
As high as Derrick is on the defense, he is shitting all over the offense. If he could put these together, we'd be 10-2.
He's got to have that yin and yang, you know?
I guess.
Have the yin and
I'm
yang.
going off what I've seen.
Yeah. And what we've seen, at least since Rule's been here, has been great defense and offense that still can't figure out how to get out of its own way. You're absolutely right, Derek. I'm just slightly over myself, 21.3 points per game. I'd be so happy if you were the one that ended up being the closest, Derek, because that would make me feel so good that we've actually got, with the changes we made on the coaching staff on that side of the ball, that we got them right. That would be really cool. But still, 21.3
outside of
per
Terry
game
Braden,
isn't bad.
outside of Terry Braden, like Addison Williams in the secondary is a former defensive coordinator. Like that guy knows how to coach a defense.
Yeah,
we still got Rob Dvorak, who knows how to coach linebackers, and
Yep.
John Butler, who has Big Ten experience. He coached at Penn State, not for very long, but he did coach at Penn State. He's coached in the pros. And then you bring in Phil Snow to top it off. I think the defense will be fine. I think everybody's so concerned about the defense. I think that will still be the strong suit of this team.
I agree. And I think the improvement on special teams just to be adequate? I think adequate is a proper expectation for this year's.
I just need him not to fuck us.
Just don't screw us up. Yeah, don't lose us games. Just be adequate. Take care of the ball. Pin people deep. If your punter can pin people deep, you know.
Are we going to see a punt return game this year?
I have no idea. I know that's
what you're asking as a punt return game.
Yeah. Punt return.
Are you asking for 7 yards a return? Or are you asking for touchdowns?
I'm not asking for Isaiah Faircatch Castaneda. I can promise you that much.
Or Santino Panico from 2004. That dude was a fair catch machine.
I want to see some type of returns.
I don't personally care about returns.
What?
As long as you don't muff punts and you just get a field position, like don't make stupid decisions like fair catching on the 5.
Decision making.
If you fair catch at the 25, if our offense is as adequate as you guys think it's going to be, I don't care if we have returns. We don't need returns because we have a good offense.
Yeah.
What I care about is not getting shit blocked. Don't let punts get blocked.
mistakes.
Don't let field goals and extra points get blocked. You fix that part of it, we're fine.
I want to have the special teams that I grew up
Mm.
watching and not really appreciating, that I never had to think about special teams. It was never even a thought. It was always just like, yep, we're going to make our field goals. We're going to get punt returns. And every once in a while, we'll take one back to the house and it'll be fun. It'll be a party. But,
And if you block a punt, it's not a surprise. It's like, oh yeah. We blocked another punt.
Yeah. Look at us. That's what I would love to see.
Is there a
that'd be great.
possibility we could like flip the stats where we get 10 block kicks and punts and only have like 3 on us?
Flipping that script would definitely be good for at least 2 more wins, wouldn't you think?
At least.
At least, yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
that gets you to 8-4, and then you go to a decent bowl game, get to 9-4, and then you're off and running for year 4.
Do that for me, Mike Eckler. You're coming in for year 1. I'm not expecting miracles. Do that for me.
I'm not expecting miracles, but 10 blocked punts would be nice.
I tell you what, if we have 10 block punts, we better win like at least 10 games.
That'd be insane.
That would be so nice. I mean,
But no miracles. No miracles.
No miracles.
I'm a
we
simple
don't need a
man.
miracle. Just 10 blocks.
Just flip the script from the last year. That's it.
That'd be pretty cool. I could live with it. That's for certain. Well, guys, this has been a heck of a lot of fun. Thanks for doing this again. Really appreciate you coming on. Let everybody know where they can find the show, where they can find you guys out there on social media.
You can find us on Twitter at Husker Cuz Cast. You can like us on Facebook. Derek, I assume we have a Facebook page still.
I think we do. Not on it.
Don't worry about Facebook. We're part of the Herd at Sports Media Network, so you can find our podcasts at Herd at Sports or anywhere you get your podcasts. We're kicking off our 10th year again. So
we've had a 10th.
I thought I said that at the beginning, but
you did. Okay. Yeah, you did.
So
this is the official kickoff. The 2025 over-under game is the official kickoff.
I see what you're doing there, Ken. Yes, now it counts. Yeah,
that was that.
Now it counts.
Preseason crap you were doing earlier was
those
just,
were practice episodes.
Yeah, that exactly.
Practice?
The real stuff happened
tonight. About practice,
right? What you got coming up next? What's your next show? You got anything planned?
You know what? That's a great question.
I believe we're talking about Big Ten Media Days. Nebraska will have talked Tuesday when we record. And then I'm sure we'll find a few other topics.
For sure.
Ken, are you buying any of these preseason magazines yet?
Nope.
I have an over-under for you guys.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's the ultimate over-under. Mm-hmm. Vegas has us set at 7.5 wins.
Right.
Over.
8.
God, you guys say that so easy.
I know, right?
8.
Look at our schedule.
We say that every year. We say that about as often as we say our receivers are going to be great.
Well, come on. It's bound at some point. It's gonna.
We haven't hit the over.
It's gonna do something.
Justin, how many years has it been since we hit the over?
We have not hit the over since 2016, right?
2016. Yeah, I think the over/under was like 7.5 that year too, and we won 9.
Yeah, so come on, like law of average.
And I would argue we have a much better coaching staff in place now than we did in 2016.
I remember people talking about the law of averages under Scott Frost when he was coach. It's like, oh, look at his record. He's got a dog shit record in 1-score games. Law of averages says he has to turn it around.
No. That was the gambler's fallacy. That was the gambler's fallacy. We're doing law of average now. We were wrong the whole time. We were doing the wrong metaphor.
Not we. I promise you, not we.
I don't know. I think the Vegas has it set very well. Would love to say it's going to be over, but As
they're
Justin pointed out, it's been 9 years.
Derek, you said that the defense is going to, your over-under pick for the defense is 17.5 points a game. Are you that unconfident in the offense that they can't score more than that in at least 8 games?
I mean, I have my concerns, yes.
I'm with you. I completely understand, but I'm
yes,
also looking
yes, I
at.
also think that you should be able to score more than that in most of those games.
Yep. I'm of the belief, though, that there is something to the year 3 under Matt Rule and as a college football head coach.
I want to believe that too.
Is he going to get double digits like he has in his first 2 stops? I don't think so, but I think it's absolutely believable that he can win 8 or 9 this year with that schedule.
So,
and if he does, that means he surprises somebody that he's not supposed to, like a USC or a Michigan. I mean, you win Michigan, you go 4-0 going into a bye week, and then Michigan State coming to town. 9 is definitely on the table.
So I think one of the things that you guys are doing, and this is, we do this every offseason, but you always count those teams that you should win as automatic wins, right?
No.
Do you think that this is the year that we completely shed that, get rid of that curse there where we're dropping games against teams that we have no business losing to?
Well, Bo Pelini did that, so I'm not sure if that happens, to be honest with you. I'm not sure.
Really,
but
there's 4 teams that you have to, that as a Nebraska fan, you're worried about. Talk about on Justin's scenario here. You're talking about Michigan, USC, Penn State, Iowa. And Iowa.
Yep.
Outside of those 4, I mean, you should be favored in the rest of those games.
Favored or 50-50 coin toss. Yeah.
And games like Minnesota scares me.
UCLA.
I mean, those 2 games, they scare me. I mean, if you drop those, 6 and 6 is on the table. You ship another one that you don't want, and we're at Ken's birthday at his age. We're at 5 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we've
Ken.
It's not like we've killed Northwestern very many times. Minnesota's beat us, I think, 6 times out of the last 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, BJ Fleck has our number.
No doubt about it.
Definitely don't count that as an automatic win on a short week on the road.
But with all that being said, we're going to go 12-0, so who gives a shit?
Well, I know our next show we're going to do in a couple of weeks is our annual 2025 Roulade versus Reality, where we go through the schedule. And if we're straight up guzzling Roulade, this is what we think is going to happen in this game. And if we're thinking based on what we've seen the last 10 years, this is the reality side. So we'll kind of compare and contrast what we think from one perspective or the other. My guess, I'm going to probably land at 8-4 on the reality side, and definitely 11-1 on the Roulade side. Because even no matter how much I guzzle, I don't think we go into Happy Valley and win. I just don't see that happening. But I could see a scenario where if things really get rolling early, that 11-1 is, so you think there's a chance level of a possibility.
So one of the things that we talk about amongst ourselves quite a bit is the question is 7-5 a disappointing season?
With this schedule, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. With this schedule, it is. It's disappointing. But I would say that
But last year was disappointing because last year should have been
7-5. Yeah, we had 7-5 in the bag until 2 minutes to go in the Iowa game. So yeah, 7-5. But if you look at the trajectory, we went 5-7, then 6-6. If you go 7-5 this year, at least you're 1 game better. Let's just get better every year. But I'd say 8-4 should be the minimum.
One last question. I got to go here, but who's the Indiana this year? Who's that team that you're looking at on our schedule going, oh, we're going to boat race them? And then all of a sudden they're sitting there at 6-0 playing us, or 5-0, or 4-0, or
I don't know if there is
7-0.
anybody. Maybe Maryland, but I doubt it. Maybe it's Minnesota. I haven't looked at their schedule that close, but I don't really see an Indiana.
Nobody's seen in Indiana last year.
Oh, I did.
Lies.
I remember your show when you previewed Indiana. Neither one of you three were real positive they were going to do much.
I was the most negative on Indiana.
I said Indiana would win.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Indiana.
I think he's talking more preseason.
Oh, yeah, preseason.
Yeah, your preseason show. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 6-6 all the way.
I think I had him at 3 wins. I honestly thought Indiana was going to be dogs.
They're not going to be good. He doesn't know how to coach in the Big Ten, and they just comes in and did what we thought Scott Frost was going to do in the first year he coached in the Big Ten. How freaking ironic is that crap?
Well,
it was just like Scott Frost, only
Matt Rule could do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought Matt Rule could come in and win at least 6 his first year with the talent he had in there, but culture, man, needed some work. Definitely needed some work. Anyway, guys, again, thanks for joining us tonight. Like I said, folks, we will be back very soon. 2 weeks to do, who knows, maybe I'll pop on and do something with the Big Ten Media Days. I don't know. This is a lot of dang work. And I'm getting old, and I've got other stuff I got to do too. So anyway, yeah, not 5 and 7. No. My age is not going to curse this team. It's not happening. 8 and 4, baby. 8 and 4. All right. Anyway, on behalf of Justin Adams, who was on earlier, Justin, Derrick, Scott, and myself, we're Generation Red. When we're here every single week to remind you that Nebraska will be back eventually. Maybe just not 5 and 7. I promise. There's no place like Nebraska.
Go Big Red, and Iowa's corn sucks.
There you go. Doesn't get any more clear than that. We'll see you next time, folks.